How to set up a business system. Your business is probably running on high-octane chaos because you've never set up the systems. Setting up systems, honestly, is not that complicated. It's just not done. And so what I'm going to walk you through today is going to solve that. By the end of this video, you're going to have a step-by-step process on how to set up any business system. So growing up, I played with Legos just a little bit. I enjoyed them, and I would just make some stuff up, but nothing like one of my children. My youngest son is a Lego freak. He's unbelievable. I remember one time we were walking past a Lego store, and he's like, I have to be in there. Like, I was built to be in there. And so we go in there, and he's just lost in Legos. And then one particular year, my wife and I decided to get him a huge Lego set, probably bigger than his age kind of Lego set. We exchanged gifts on Christmas morning. And they were like, hey, where did he go? And he's up in his room for 2 hours. And he came back down and we're like, hey, bud, how's your Lego going? He's like, I'm done. There's no possible way you can be done. He's like, yeah, I'm done. So we walked upstairs and lo and behold, he was done. And so we looked at it and we're like, how did you do this? I'll never forget this. He held up the instruction manual. And he goes, I just followed the instructions. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is such a metaphor for building systems in business. How many times do we not build an instruction manual and our team comes back and we get frustrated by them because they're not doing the thing the way they're supposed to be doing it, and yet we never built an instruction manual in the first place for them to know what to do or how to do that thing. So I want you to think more like my, at that time, 10-year-old than sometimes we do as business owners, and think, where's the instruction manual? That's a great question to ask. In fact, that's a core question you can ask and write down, and once a week, go back to it and go, where's the instruction manual? Where's the instruction manual? All throughout the year to remind you to build some of these systems that are there. But the ultimate question is, how do we set up those systems? And so that's what I want to dive into. 4 parts that I want to look at to ensure not only those systems get set up, but they actually get run the way that you want to run them, so that a 10-year-old can sit down and do it without you being in the room. So first step that we're going to do is we're actually going to go to the bottom right down here with something that we call the Master Process Roadmap. Super simple. The reason we call it a Master Process Roadmap is because it's a roadmap of your master processes. Genius name, right? So here's how it works. So in a business is made up of 4 core systems. In fact, I've got another video you can link to in the description below, and you can go down there and click, and you'll see how I walk through the Business on Purpose operating system that talks about the 4 Ps and the 4 cores. And that fundamentally overviews, it's a beautiful, colorful board, and it'll walk you through what an entire business is built up. But the 4 core are what we call the 4 systems. Now, the way systems work as opposed to processes is systems are nothing more than a collection of processes. So processes are small, the system is big. So a marketing system is made up of multiple processes. Sales system made up of multiple sales processes. It's just like, think about your home, and you've got an electrical system in your home. Well, the electrical system is really just one tab that includes the lights, the light fixtures, the switches, the wiring, the circuit boards, everything that goes in. Those are the individual processes. That's how I want you to think about systems in your business. Macro, micro. We're going to focus on the macro so you can see that, and in order to do that, I want you to start with marketing, sales, ops, and admin. Now, you might be going, yeah, but my business is more complicated than that. Listen, if you can just keep it simple for now, the reason that we've not delegated properly is because we've made things too complex. So I'm intentionally wanting to simplify those things down. Marketing, sales, operations, and administration. And what you can do as a matter of exercise is you can get a scratch sheet of paper, set your timer for 15 minutes, do a full brain dump of every process that you can possibly think of in each one of those 4 core systems. Social media channels, websites, print advertising, door knocking, whatever it is that you do to market your business, write that process down. You don't have to write the details yet. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But we're setting up these systems in the business, and we need to do that by starting with the 4 core and mapping out the processes within that. Then, in order to do that, we want to figure out a way to get those processes out into other people so that we can delegate those processes in the systems of our business, because as an owner, too many times we are the bottleneck for all the systems in the business. So let's say you've got those set up. Then what we're going to do to properly distribute the processes within that system is we're going to follow the PTA model. It's process, train, and accountability. Processing, training, and accountability. So it's super simple. Pick one process from your marketing. Let's say from sales, it's sales script. When you go out on an appointment or you sit down with a potential client and you want to walk through a sales script or a series of particular questions or whatever it might be, what we're going to do is first we're going to process that thing. So here's the easiest way to do it, is follow the systems mindset. The next time you have a sales call, I want you to record that sales call like it's the last time you're ever going to do a sales call. They're super easy tools to be able to do that. You can do that with voice memos. You need to acknowledge that you're recording it, by the way, when you're dealing with other people. You can use AI, digital recorders. There's a variety of things you can do, but just record that conversation, and then through AI, you can get that recorder to delineate what the process of that sales workflow is like. All right, so we've got the process that we've identified in the system. First, we need to process it out, remember, record it. Then we need to train it on a regular basis and then have a system for holding people accountable to be able to do it. See, it's not good enough just to build the system. We actually need to take the system and put it out into the extremities of the business, but that's got to incorporate training and accountability. So how best do we train and account? Well, simply, we can take the 4 systems that you built, marketing, sales, ops, and admin, put them down here on a spreadsheet. So just put a line for marketing, sales, ops, admin, all your 4 core systems. Give us 52 weeks across the year. And so, simple spreadsheet, columns out here. Your first column is going to be the theme of your system, and then we're going to add one on meeting, because the meeting is where we're going to hold accountable and train the process on a regular basis. So here's how it works. So when you see a process down here, we want to process it out. So we're going to record it the next time we do it. Then we're going to come over here. Let's say it was a marketing process, and we're going to fill in this little cell to say, hey, the marketing process on how to update social media sites. Just put a little note in there. And then that's what you're going to talk about that week during your meeting, is that marketing process. You're going to talk about this sales process, this ops process, this admin process. So that'll happen across the course of the year. Now, depending on the size of your business, you may do that all in one meeting, or you may have an operations meeting where you just talk about the operational process. I will tell you this, from a systems standpoint, it does help to cross-train. Sometimes it's helpful for the people in the field to hear about some of the marketing things that are going on. So just be aware, you don't want to silo it too much, because it cross-trains to the extremities of the business so more people are capable of understanding how the system of the business works. So we've got the systems identified, we've got the processes laid out, we're starting to record those, map them out step by step, and then we've got a process for training and accountability. So how do you, as the owner, get these individual tasks off of your plate onto other people? That's the delegation roadmap. Now I've got another video that you can link to that will walk you step by step through how to do this. Very quickly, you're going to list out the tasks from the processes. You're going to rank them by time, energy, and delegatability. You're going to get all those things that suck the life out of you and are easy to delegate, package them up, and we're going to start holding those accountable and training the other team to be able to do that. If you do not follow that systems mindset, it's going to be hard to grasp some of these processes. And if you're not willing to train repetitively, predictably, and meaningfully, the RPMs of great leadership, then you're going to have a really hard time delegating. See, delegation is different from abdication. Abdication is we just go, hey, I need you to start sending customer updates, and then that's it. Delegation is where we process customer updates, train customer updates regularly, repetitively, and then hold them accountable to do spot checks on how those customer updates are going out. Now we've got healthy delegation in the business systems, because what's a system if we don't delegate the system that's in there? So now we talked about business systems, but the business systems exist for the team, and you need help finding the right team members. So there is a link in the description below that's going to take you to a wildly helpful video that'll walk you step by step through finding, hiring and onboarding, and retaining the right talent. And then at the end, if you'll hang around, I've got a free gift that we've built custom for you, along with some of the actual templates we use with our clients, these business owners under 100 employees. Because at Business on Purpose, our mission is to liberate you from chaos. And so we've got that free gift for you so that you can experience some of that chaos liberation. Go click on the link below and get started finding the right people.